Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tidbits. This is the first episode of Tidbits in 2022, and I'm happy to be here with Fuzzy Belvedere as always. And hey, Fuzz, we did have a show this past week, so this is the second time we've had a chance to talk in the last few days. But
Yeah.
how's it been going in those couple of days? You've been having some fun playing some games?
Oh, yeah, it's been pretty good, and as always, still playing a bit of Forza, and man, 15 million players. Wow.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment, and still having fun with Insurgency and looking forward to a lot of games coming up, not just this week, but this whole month. It's starting off really fun this
Yeah.
year.
News-wise, it's been crazy already.
Yeah.
Acquisitions and that happening, and we've got freaking publishers putting subscriptions on platforms and surprise games coming to Game Pass and all this stuff. So it's been crazy. But we always start with tidbits, just to go through the games releasing for the week. And there are no new games releasing this week, period. January, early January, late December is always a dry spell. But there are some actual, even with these releases, it's still interesting enough because Monster Hunter Rise was a very popular game on the Switch, and it's finally getting released on PC. So that gives a lot of people a chance to play this game in a way they've never been able to before. I think it'll show best probably on PC, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get to see some graphical. You get to play it. I'm guessing you get to play in 4K. All that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
hey, Monster Hunter fans out there, get to play it on PC starting on the 12th of this month. So let's see. I really no other news on that. It looks like Game Informer gave it a 7.75 when it was released.
Mhm.
Have you tried Monster Hunter Rise at all, Fuzzy?
No, but I did enjoy the previous Monster Hunter on console
Yeah.
when they brought that to Xbox and PlayStation and stuff. And although I wound up picking it up a bit later, so everybody had already leveled up, and I'm still grinding for stuff. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I hope eventually it comes to more than just
Yeah.
Switch and PC, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
I may give it a go on PC at some point if it's on sale for a decent price.
Mhm.
I would like to see it come to other platforms as well. Being that it's coming to PC, maybe that leaves that window open. I don't know.
Yeah.
Another one coming out, another game that's coming out on a different platform than is Astroneer. Astroneer is a very popular game. It's been on Xbox for a while. A lot of people enjoy this game, and it's finally making its way to the Switch, which I think is actually a good place for Astroneer. I think it has a chance to sell quite a few copies and
Yeah.
get a lot of kids having some fun with this one. It's coming out on the 13th. What about Astroneer? Have you tried it?
Oh yeah, I tried that. I think it was when it was in game preview on Xbox, or maybe it was on Game Pass at the time, but it was a lot of fun. It was kind of like a Minecraft in space kind of thing. You
Yeah.
gotta make sure you have the connection so you have enough oxygen to go exploring. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And having that as a portable game would be pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
So it's good on it should be a good fit on the Switch.
Heck yeah, man. And then the day that a lot of people said would never happen, a lot of people said this day would never come. God of War is releasing on PC. This was one of the ones that caused a lot of waves and controversy when it was announced that it was coming to PC. A lot of
Mhm.
fanboys going back and forth on Twitter and the likes about this thing. A lot of I told you so's, a lot of crap. I don't want to go down this roads, and a lot of just craziness. However, God of War is finally releasing on PC on the 14th, which is later this week, and it's one of the best games of all time, according to a lot of people. So now a lot of other people that have not been owning a PlayStation are going to be able to purchase this game. I think it's going to sell like crazy on Steam.
Oh yeah. They
Um,
might crash their servers for
yeah,
downloads in a minute type of thing.
I'm curious how it's gonna look and stuff, or what kind of improvements and all and things that they've made. Man,
I know they did the FPS. It should be basically unlock frames, and
yeah.
I think they've even gone an extra mile and touched up a few of the assets. So it pretty much on PC. It's going to be the definitive edition.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just waiting to see what people do as far as mods. That's
Yes, that'd be crazy, dude. And those people out there that got those 3090s and stuff, all these crazy graphics cards are going to be running that game. And I sure we'll get some interesting videos and stuff out there with just like crazy graphics comparisons and stuff. And I'm really looking forward to that because that's a beautiful game as it was on PS4, right?
yeah.
It looks good on PS5. It performs well on
Mhm.
PS5 as well. But this PC, there's usually no limit. You know what I mean? Like, and a
Yeah.
lot of those mods you're talking about also can be visual mods as well, right?
Mhm.
So I'm curious where that's going to go. And hey, God of War, the day has arrived on the 14th. It is coming to PC, and I think this is going to mark, especially after this sells like crazy, and PlayStation sees that money coming in. I think this is going to set the standard for what we expect from the big AAA titles from PlayStation, and we'll see more of these games coming to PC. And I think sooner rather than later.
Oh
Also,
yeah.
I don't necessarily know day one if that'll happen, but 3 to 6 months after release, I could foresee that being a thing, for
Yeah.
sure. Um,
I still have this gut feeling. Ben Studios' new IP, that might be the test for day and date. But yeah, I agree with you. 3 to 6 months might be the window instead of 1 to 2 years. Because
yeah,
I have a feeling Steam is is going to sell like gangbusters, and there's going to be a lot of people that have a PS4 or PS5 that are going to want to see, that also have a pretty decent PC, that are going to want to see what this looks like,
yeah.
with everything to the nines type of deal. So, and I'm probably going to be one of those here soon.
When do you think God of War Ragnarok will release on PC? Like, how many months after release? 3 months, 6 months, a year?
I think the plan now is probably 6 months to a year, but if this thing sells like gangbusters, like I think it will, it could very well be a 3 to 6 month. I mean,
Yeah,
I I know there have been people that have gone back and forth on how it would cannibalize some of the sales, but there's enough like PC only players out there that won't bother with any consoles because they don't want to, go back to that setup. They're already fine with their rigs that they've built or that they keep on, upgrading. And then there's the console crowd that primarily just game on console, and PC is more of like it's for work purposes or editing purposes or something like that. So I don't think it's going to be too much overlap where they'll cannibalize things. So they might just look at it as, hey, if we do well now, and this is a game that's, man, I think at this point almost 3 years old, 4 years old.
yeah.
that
2018, right?
Yeah, they're gonna be like, hey, we could make this money right off the bat, just releasing it on both at the same time. But yeah, I think it's 6 months to a year right now. But if Wednesday or Thursday, I think when this thing drops, if this thing just blows all records as far as like 1 million sales in like a day or 2 million a day
It's
for
gonna be
like a
crazy.
Steam item,
I
yeah,
mean, for one of the, I mean, you look at the score that the Game Informer gave it here at 9.75. It's not too much lower on Metacritic. It's like it's one of the
yeah.
best reviewed, best well thought of games of all time. Like I said,
Hmm.
whether you like it or I like it or whatever, that the general consensus is still out there, and it
Yeah.
has a mass appeal, and it's gonna sell like crazy. And it, the question is gonna be how long will it sell like crazy on PC as well? Because this is not just gonna be like, oh, everybody buys it and it stops. I mean, this is gonna open up a whole
Hmm.
platform for people buying
Yeah.
this game for a long time now on PC. When they upgrade their rigs, oh yeah, ooh, God of War, and I'm curious later on what kind of sales they'll have and that kind of stuff, also.
Mhm.
So it's gonna be interesting, man. Sony's definitely um, stepping their foot into that territory, which makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense. And we'll see where they go from here, though, on the future releases.
So it
There.
definitely benefited Days Gone and
Oh yeah.
Horizon Horizon Zero Dawn. Those two kind of, I guess, got their interests up as far as PC ports and things like that. So yeah, this one put a stamp on it. It's going to probably change or make waves again.
Yeah. And shout out to Bad Bit and Tony Grasso for hopping in here in the chat with us. We were just talking about the few, I guess, ports slash releases that are switching to different platforms this week, because there's really no new games this week, but there was some news. We'll touch on this.
Mhm.
Zynga. Wow. Take-Two Interactive is showing that they are growing. They have
Mhm.
acquired in a massive deal. I think it was like $12.7 billion, something like that, for Zynga Games, coming out of out of left field here and showing a huge investment in with mobile gaming. And I think it's going to be very interesting. Now, the question I have is this mark a shift in focus, which we've already kind of been curious about from Take-Two Interactive, making such a huge splash with mobile gaming, being
Mhm.
that they've had a lack of really big new game announcements recently. We still don't know where Grand Theft Auto 6 is. There's been no information about a possible sequel to Red Dead Redemption. They do have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming soon.
Mhm.
But other than that, really, it's been pretty quiet. They got their sports releases like NBA, and I think wrestling is going to be coming as well. But as far
Yeah.
as like new exciting things from them, it's been really really quiet, and even from Private Division, who is one of their subsidies. I don't know if we've had a big announcement from Private Division recently either, except for maybe some smaller indie stuff. So,
Yeah.
is this mark a shift where the shareholders pretty much are running the show to the point where there's no more interest in making big AAA style games anymore, or is that still going to happen? What do you think, Fuzzy?
It's hard to say. Like, I've expected so much out of Take Two over these past few years, and it seems like some of it's got some bright spots, some of it some low points, like the Mafia trilogy, the remasters that they did. It was a step in the right direction. They did a decent job on it, although some people would have wanted them to go a little bit further. But then they took a step backwards with the trilogy for Grand Theft Auto. It seemed like the mods that they had DMCA take down were better off than the actual remaster that they did. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it just feels like they're living off of the past kind of thing in a way. And this is like a Hail Mary. It's like, you know what? Zynga makes a lot of money on mobile, so let's bring them into the fold, and then we could move GTA 5 over there
Right.
and sell it for like the 15th time, and do like a GTA Online mobile or something. It's weird. I hope there's still some triple A's in the tank somewhere, above and beyond like the Tiny Tina's adventure that's coming out soon. Um, I know they said in like a quarterly call, like a year or so ago, that they had like 30 games in the works, but some of those are like the sports titles, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
You even said before we went on about like they have that NFL game that's
Yeah.
more of like an arcade one.
It's supposed to be. They
Um,
got the that was the news that they had gotten the ability to make NFL games now, but they can't be simulation games. They have to be like
yeah.
arcade style, according to the licensing agreement with EA and the NFL.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that is. We don't know right now. So excited to find that
So,
out.
yeah, same here. But it I know they were trying to acquire Codemasters and EA beat them out on that. So that took away any possibility of like a lot of racing games that they can kind of fall back on for new titles, but it just seems like they are in a weird funk right now. It just, especially with Rockstar. Like Rockstar used to at least produce a game or two every couple of years, and it seems like now, what, 4 or 5 years? Well, Red Dead Redemption 2 is what, 2 years, almost 3 years old now, and Grand Theft Auto is like almost 10 years old now, and it's hopefully this is just something more than GTA coming to mobile as a free to play on your phone, where shark cards are the latest thing to buy on your phone or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Definitely a big move. You said 12.6 or 12.7
I
billion.
forgot what the official number was. It's been trending all day, so all I gotta do is click on Zynga on Twitter, and I'm sure I can find that out really quick. It's, let's see here, $12.7 billion.
Wow. I guess they're channeling their inner Tencent.
Yeah.
Like, we can make big purchases too.
Yeah, and there was a lot of talk at the time, like, what is Take-Two going to do? And when those Take-Two rumors first started swirling about, Xbox and stuff, and it's like,
Mhm.
for me at the time, I was like, Take-Two seemed like they would be the company that'd be more in the acquisition phase as opposed to being acquired. But there's still been weird stuff going on, and you have some strange moves and
Mhm.
that they've been making. It's kind of like seem like, hey, are they getting prepped for an acquisition actually? And like that's kind of what some of the rumors were. And then turns out,
Yeah.
bam, they turn around and they slam 12.7 billion on the table for Zynga. Right? Like, and now Zynga is no slouch, but
No.
it just is a very different thing to think about when you think of Take-Two. Right?
Yeah.
When people think of Take-Two, they think of Rockstar and they think of, you know, um, these massive games, like huge games, and they think of sports games and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'm just gonna bring up this picture of from Zynga, and I mean this is Zynga, right? You look at the kind of games that they make, right? I'm not saying this is bad, it is what it is. Different people enjoy different things, and
Yeah.
I play mobile games too. Like, I played lots of Words with Friends. I've played a
Mhm.
lot of Candy Crush. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
not like thinking of it as Take-Two, the same company that makes GTA and Rockstar. It makes Red Dead Redemption and made Midnight Club and NBA 2K and Mafia,
Mhm.
Borderlands, all that stuff, and then okay, and Words with Friends and Candy Crush, and
Yeah.
this is gonna create a massive amount of revenue for them,
Mhm.
which is what they want, obviously, But what I'm curious about is making this big of an investment. I'm wondering if that shifts the focus of the company a lot as a whole, or if it's just going to stand alone as its own and they're going to still operate separately, in their own ways. So I'm sure we'll find out a lot of more information on that.
Mhm.
So it's going to be crazy. My hope is, the hope is that Zynga makes so much money that can invest in more stuff on the other side as well. You know,
That that would be awesome.
that
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 would
would
be
be
an
awesome.
awesome way for them to kind of shift gears. A little bit of fear that that might not be the case, but man, if they were to take that revenue, reinvest it into Red Dead Online, because I know the fan base there is kind of, begging for more content. Um, you got a lot of fans out there from the original Bully series, and they had like a Bully 2 in the works, and they
Yeah.
scrapped it last minute. And it's like, that's a game that probably would do fairly decent numbers for them. And they already had like a whole new system. I remember reading somewhere they had like a grass growing system where it was persistent throughout the world. So you could have like a lawn mowing business to earn revenue in game and make like the crosshatch lines for people's yards and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it'd be nice if they put money into bringing that to or green lighting that game or a whole new mafia game, like kind of whether it's more modern times or if they kind of dip back into expanding the story on some of the previous parts of the trilogy. But yeah, it that Zynga investment hopefully is quickly returned and reinvested in their AAA studios and
Yeah.
stuff instead of it just being, hey, let's bring the AAA stuff to mobile.
So when before we went live, I was like curious, like because we were trying to think of some game announcements that have been announced from Take-Two,
Mhm.
right? That were not the yearly releases like NBA, WWE, stuff like that. And we were having trouble thinking of games that we came up with Tiny Tina's, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but beyond that, like we were curious. Now I just think of another one, Midnight Suns,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But that has a mobile twist on it with the whole card battle system thing, right? So again, it's like, okay, wait, now is that mobile twist coming from 2K? Are they putting that on them? Who knows exactly? But I when I was looking up stuff, I kind of found this article from PC Gamer, and they said that um, this was back in May. Take Two is releasing 62 games by 2024, and they have
Mhm.
guesses about what they are. So shout out to Gamer, and I'll put a link to this article in the description. This was from their quarterly earnings call back in May. Okay, so this was what their plans were. They had Ollie Ollie World, GTA 5 for next gen is releasing.
Mhm.
Red Dead, which was delayed after
Yeah.
I think we realized that the trailer that they put was ridiculous, and all they were trying to sell is like more explosions and better graphics, and that's all they said in the video. And there was like no information. It was really 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 strange. So GTA for next gen, Red Dead Redemption 2 for next gen.
Mhm.
That's what their guesses are. I'm hoping that one's accurate because
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption needs some updates. 60 frames and all this stuff. It would be glorious. Um, GTA 3 20th anniversary edition, which we did get that. We got the trilogy. So this was
Mhm.
one of their guesses that sort of came true. Although that was not worth a damn. That game. That
The
was
mods were
the
better.
worst remaster I think I've ever seen. Borderlands 2 for PS5 and Series X. This is another guess. Mafia
Mhm.
Definitive Edition for next gen PGA Tour. So those aren't really games to me. That's just like next gen ports. So let's get into what I'm their actual things are. Fiscal 2023 to 24. So this is PC Gamer's guesses. GTA 6, Borderlands, the movie, the game, or some spinoff.
Mhm. Yeah.
Maybe was it maybe Tiny Tina's hadn't been announced at this point. I don't think it had.
No.
Not sure. So BioShock 4, XCOM 3, Civilization 7. Man, this list is almost seems too good to be true right now because why haven't we heard about any of this stuff? Civilization 7, Duke Nukem gets canceled. Okay, that sounds like a joke. I don't even know what that is. Brothers in Arms, now a modern day first free to play shooter. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Didn't Zynga work on something with that? Possibly. Mafia 4, Kerbal Space Program 2, Max Payne reboot. Okay. If they did that, that would be pretty impressive. The Darkness 3, hey, let's go. They need to do
Yeah.
that one. Um, then a bunch of the NBA and WWE stuff.
Mhm.
Independent Outer Worlds 2. Did they make this list in May? Because whoever this guy, like, did he forget that Obsidian is owned by Xbox now? I guess he did. Moon Studios action RPG, Carmelo, an online multiplayer card game. Okay, Ollie Ollie Galaxy, a private division game that makes us say, "Oh, neat." Okay, mid-core WWE 2K Battlegrounds 2. I could see that. The 2K NFL Bobblehead Blitz. I could see that. NBA Playgrounds 3. I could see that. Sid Meier's
Yeah.
Pirates. Okay, new iterations of previously released titles. Now, the Bully remake. Now, this is something that's been rumored
Hmm.
and has not come to fruition. We'll see if it's a thing.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption remake, possibly. BioShock Infinite 10-year anniversary edition. Okay, even going through this whole list of 64 things of guesses from PC Gamer, there's not a lot there actually. Like, hopefully it's
No.
a lot better than that. There's some really cool things in there, but man, there's a lot of ports and remasters and definitive editions, anniversary editions, and all that kind of shit on that list. So,
Hmm.
wow. Let's hope that's not true. I don't know, man. Then that goes to say they have to guess the stuff because they're really not telling us anything about what they have in store. I think have they
Yeah,
lost the ability to make games?
it almost feels that way. It's like after they brought in all that cash from GTA Online,
Yeah,
but didn't bring in as much cash from Red Dead Redemption 2. It's kind of like they're like, we give up. Just more GTA because it seems to make money. Keep pushing
yeah.
that.
They even put
Um,
GTA Online Red Dead Redemption Online at $5, but they haven't put anywhere near the investment with Red Dead Online that they have with GTA Online. And
no.
I think it's because GTA Online makes so much money, and that's what people are playing more still. That
Mhm.
it's like, okay, we're only going to put as more investment into Red Dead if it sells, but the investment they put into GTA Online is the reason it's done so well. It's like they've lost the focus on what's creating the success.
Yeah. I I've always kind of said after a couple of people left Rockstar that that's a studio that's kind of at a loss.
Yeah.
And I I hope well we'll probably hear something from like somebody like Jason Schreier in like a year or two of why GTA 6 either will never happen or why it's a disaster or something. But it seemed like when Leslie Benzies left, it was like the main managing uh, guy there. Once he left, because they weren't paying him the royalties, and
Yeah.
I guess they kept on trying to force the team to do the online stuff as opposed to the single player stuff, kind of like what they wanted. He was like, "I'm out." So they kind of forced him out. And then Dan Hauser, who was like the lead writer for all of their stuff, um, for pretty much all the GTAs and both Red Dead Redemptions. Once he left, it was kind of like, all right, so who's writing the stories now? Do they have any stories? Because it seems like they're just with them focusing on like the online stuff. It's kind of like you make your own story, which works, somewhat, but they're also being known for like their single player stuff. They have to kind of craft a story that's like epic, like a movie that you're involved in
Yeah.
and keeps you, drawn to playing that game. And with him being gone, not saying that there isn't, follow-up talent within the studio. I'm pretty sure there is, but the fingerprint of his work pretty much was like their voice or their backbone or their voice when it came to all the stories they've released so far. So if he's not there, it's a different rock star. And I think they took away some of the, what was it, Hangar 13 people that were working on like the definitive edition of like the remasters for Mafia, and they kind of killed the Mafia 4 idea before to do the remasters. And it,
Yeah.
I don't know, it seems like they prioritize money over everything else, and it seems like it's the detriment to the rest of the studios, almost to the point where they're kind of stuck in this, oh, we'll just re-release content that we know worked before, and if we polish it a little bit here and there, it'll make some more money again.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
And all this could be for not. Let's say tomorrow they make a couple of announcements. Hey, 2K, because 2K doesn't usually follow the trend of some of the other publishers with some of the way they show their media. Like they'll just randomly drop stuff, at
Mm-hmm.
times. So I'm wondering if they'll just randomly drop an announcement, at any time coming up in the next uh, couple weeks, right? Like,
Mhm.
this is coming this year, and everybody's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" This is amazing. You know, it could happen.
Yeah.
It's just weird, like, because they have such massive teams,
Yeah.
right? They have such massive teams. I remember we also had gotten that news about their whole new next gen AI stuff in the cloud and how it's going to help with the development of games in the future, and cars are
Mhm.
going to be able to react, and people are going to react realistically, and for AI models and all this stuff, and it gave a lot of people hope for, hey, what's the next GTA going to be like, because
Yeah.
like if this AI is in there, then all this stuff's going to be crazy, dude. But still no even announcement of GTA 6. It's got to come at some point, you would think, right? But then who's writing it? And how do you what's their ideas behind it? Like, there's just no information, man. It's been so long. GTA 5
Yeah.
is about to release on its third generation
Mhm.
without any news of the next. That's crazy, man. Red Dead Redemption was, even if they see it as a disappointment, was an extremely successful game. I don't
Yeah.
think I don't know how they could sell a game that sold as well and was as well received as Red Dead Redemption and not see it as a success, right? Um, but there's no real information on there, and it's like it's kind
Yeah.
of weird. It's just kind of quiet, except for GTA Online updates, and now
Yeah.
Zynga.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. The fears are GTA 6 is basically more GTA 5 online. Uh, you make your own story in a new city.
Yeah,
uh, with Dr. Dre featured in in that iteration as well. And then possibly GTA Online and Red Dead Redemption Online making it to mobile, so you can buy shark cards or gold. I forget what they call the ones for Red Dead. It's basically like gold bucks or gold bricks or something
yeah.
something along those lines. But man, it's kind of weird. But hopefully between now and E3, they show us something, because
Yeah,
otherwise it just
maybe
seems like
that.
a lot of money spent for no reason.
Yeah, like Sour Bliss said, with the bully thing, maybe that will come out to be true, right? Yeah, maybe, you know, um, Bully 2 is a thing. Maybe it's a remake. Maybe they'll bring back Midnight Club, right? Maybe they'll, I don't know, make something new and unique and interesting. I know they did announce Midnight Suns, which that had me so excited, right? I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be a dream game. It's gonna be a dream game. And
Yeah.
then like 2 days later, they showed gameplay and that whole system they had implemented for that, and that hype and excitement just went down to nothing, right? So, I think that was recently delayed too, so they could be changing some of those aspects after feedback. So we'll see. It just reminds me of, you
Yeah.
remember the interview between last year between Phil Spencer and the CEO of Take Two, and for some like financial uh, website or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's where the whole like 30 million number got thrown out by the Take Two CEO, and everybody's like, "Oh, Game Pass is at 30 million now. Holy shit!" Including us. We're like, "Wow, that's crazy." And it turns out like maybe he jumped the gun. We don't know what the Game Pass numbers are actually at right now, but
Yeah.
he's at the time was like, subscriptions aren't really for us for new games. They're for a back catalog and our library of older games and stuff. And as he
Mhm.
was kind of reiterating that, um, but then they go and they purchase Zynga. Like Zynga is a free to play model,
Mhm.
period, right? It
Yeah.
and I mean, you could say it's a subscription or not. It's free to play. I mean, it is different because it's free to play, not subscription. But still, it's like that's same. A lot of the same basic concepts in there. And
Mhm.
it's almost like I don't know if they know what direction they want to go. They just want money, which is cool. Like I get it. You're a company, right? But like,
Yeah.
hey, man, there's certain companies that like have grown with the foundation of believing in something and believing in a like, they all have this like, this is our mission statement, right? This is what we're about.
Mhm.
At this games, we believe in creating the next gen, blah 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 of this or that, right? And they really stick to that pillar, and they try and be as financially successful as possible within that pillar, right? And they try and
Yeah.
push that pillar forward no matter what. And right now, for Take-Two, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know if they have one anymore. It used to stand for something. Take-Two used to stand for the highest quality, big stories,
Mhm.
serious gameplay, great graphics, uh, some of the best sports games. It stood for all of this, and now it seems like they stand for monetization,
Yeah.
and that's about it. So I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see if we get some cool announcements from them in the future. But other than
Yeah.
that, hey, this has been a fun little 35-minute show to bits. We didn't have any real new games. God of War for PC is a
Yeah.
big deal. Monster Hunter Rise on PC is kind of a big deal. You got Astroneer coming to Switch as well. So check out those games, everybody. And Fuzzy, thanks for joining me again this week for Tidbits. And please let everybody know where to find you on Twitter and your other shows that you're now a part of.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always fun to join you on these. For those curious on my ramblings on games in general, whether it be Insurgency, Forza, or otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at fuzzy_Belvedere. Um, on Mondays here with Mav on Tidbits. On Fridays with Breakfast with Boom with Dreadpool and Crispy Bomb and Big Cloud Gaming. On Saturdays at 6 p.m., you can also find me on FSP Podcast with Mav on Fun Speculations channel, as well as with Gaming Key or Just Key. And later that night, you can usually find me on the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam, Pong Soul, and Centurion 1307.
Right on,
Man,
dude.
this is so much fun. The gaming news is already on fire, and
Yeah.
we're only into the second week.
Yep. Absolutely crazy, dude. Thanks for, like I said, thanks for being here. And hey, Wednesday we'll be back with Fun Pop, and we're gonna be bringing you coverage of movies and TV shows and all that kind of fun stuff. Lots of stuff going on right there right now. Morbius was delayed, strangely,
Mm,
maybe because of COVID. I'm not sure exactly why they delayed it the month it was supposed to be released.
yeah.
So that was a thing. So we'll talk about that and some other fun stuff on Wednesday with Psychonauts and Jasper, as well as Thursdays, PM in the PM. Hey, Pong Soul and I are probably gonna have some discussions on this and some other awesome topics as well on Thursday. And then Friday, check out Xbox Ultimate Podcast with the Great Eight, is what we're calling it now, and also Saturday, like Fuzzy said, FSP. So thank you all for being here. I see some awesome names. Tony Grasso is here. Geezer Prime, OCDgamer, Sourblow Gaming. Let's see here. Who else is here? Bad Bit was here as well. Only on Xbox was here. InsaneCakes stopped by. I think I said Tony Grasso already. I'm not sure. But
Nice. Yeah.
thank you all. Appreciate the view. Appreciate you checking us out. And hit the like button on your way out. I greatly appreciate that. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take it easy.
Later.